Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Running a little bit late there. Trying to get things sorted out really quick for you guys. How are you tonight? Hope you are all well. Let me get everything done correctly, how I like it set up, and then we shall begin. Okay. So the way I was going to set this up tonight, I didn't have anything in particular that I was going to look at. So with that in mind, when you're doing a project, this is where it becomes what you might call a slog, right? But to help you to focus the mind, let's say, is, and this is done, well, normally normal software development, this is kind of done at the start. But what I tend to do at some point along the line is to make up a list. Okay? So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to create a new folder. Right? And this is just to keep everything. And it's going to be basically a to-do list. Okay? And then I'm just going to create a new text document. And I'm going to call it to-do list. And then this kind of focuses your mind on things that are still outstanding in the project, right? So what then I would do, I would normally do this on a whiteboard or whatever, but since I don't have one here, we're just going to do it as basically a document, right? And we'll just categorize things, right, into certain things. So you've got the likes of audio, graphics, gameplay, known issues. You can do this however you like, right? Now, the reason I went in to do this was to focus my mind on things that need done. Okay? And then immediately when I started thinking about things that would go in this list, I thought of something that's outstanding. Okay? So that item was gameplay and stun monsters. Okay, now I do know that I've done stuff on this, but I didn't complete it and I didn't set a button up for it. Okay? Which leads me on to another issue, which is input buttons. Okay? And that's because, can I actually, yeah, I believe I can bold these. Right, so we can basically go through, did I select everything there? Well, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, the point was input buttons, and I can show you the issue with that. Now, I did change the input buttons over at one point, but I left the old ones in, right? So that I could basically move these items into their specific places if required. So, you know, for the mixed reality thumbsticks and the Xbox thumbsticks and all the controller thumbsticks, and all the rest of it, I can basically move these into my controls, which is basically forward, backward, left, right, look up, rate, turn, right, which I'm still using, and the turn rate. Okay, so that's another thing that needs to be done, right? But just going through these in your head and thinking of the things that need actually done, you can then begin to focus on things that you know that are issues, right? And I know that I need new room parts, right? Known issues. I know we have a problem with the teleporter frame rate, right? And we can gradually go through these and basically set out what we need still to take a look at, right? Which then gives me a better idea of what I'm going to work on a stream, for example. Okay, so we also want to do the gateway decor, right? And then there is one other thing here which is an elephant in the room for me, which is story. Okay, now what I would normally do in this instance is as I'm going through the game now, I would add to this list on things that are missing. Okay. In the gameplay, we might want a previous rating on level painting, right? Then we would be looking at Steam achievements and Steam high score and offline high score. Okay. So I'm beginning to build a list up of things. We'll call that decal messages. So we can gradually home in on these and solve the issues, right? Now some of these I can't do because it's going to be animations and graphics, so that's going to need someone else to work on it, but for the moment I can work on all of these different things. Now the wall decal messages, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to need a child to say these lines so that I can then muck about with them and then make them sound scary. So that's going to be a job for a niece or a nephew or something like that. Graphics, the gateway decor, again, we might actually do a bit of that tonight. Stun monsters we're going to take a look at. Okay, because we do have Right, so in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll file and we'll save this. We'll keep it open because if there's anything pops up here, right, then we can basically do something with it. We can put it on the list and then we know we need to address the issue. Okay, so from this, if we go into our, oh, and yeah, I've added a couple of attacks for the monsters, right? So again, we can go in here and we can say monster attack and animation, right? So this is where we're actually going to have the monsters actually attacking, and we're going to need monster screams. So again, we can save this. And now if we go into our first person controller, or in this case our pawn controller, we actually have and also at this point as well, what I would actually want to do is do a little bit more with here we have the base monster, and there is our stun. Okay, so we actually need to set up a key for this so that it then comes up in our keybinds. Okay, so as you will see here, if we go to options, key bindings, we have an interact with item, and we have this stuff, but we don't have a stun. Okay, so to put that right, we can go to our project settings and then input, and we're going to do an action mapping, right? And we should have had a new one. No, apparently we don't. Don't know why it didn't add that. Ah, it did. Okay, it just didn't show up the first time, so we can delete that one. Then we can basically do stun. And we can set this to the space bar, right? But now what we need to do is for our jump, we need to remove the space bar. Okay, now we're going to end up removing jump, removing fire. We may not do this, but the code has been taken out for this as well. So we can worry about that later, but we definitely want the stun. Okay, so now when we actually go in here and go to our options, key bindings, we need to go into the code that brings up stun. Okay, and then this is the thing that stuns all the monsters. So we basically say stun. We should probably call it stun monsters, but anyway. And we'll move it to here, because this is interact with item. Right, anything below this is in use. This is all testing purposes stuff. Okay. So now we want to go and get our menu controller. Okay. And it might not be in here. In fact, it won't be. But we might need to take a look at that. So we need to look at our HUD. Main menu. Options. And we probably need to have a look at both of these. And fill key bindings basically. So basically what we do is we add one in here. Do that to there. Add that to there. And type in stun. Okay. And when we go to options, keybinds, we now have stun. Spacebar. And there you go. Just check it works. Press J. That's fine. Spacebar, fine. Okay. So that is the first part of our stun complete. But now we have another issue. Okay, we've just basically added another issue to our gameplay. And that is that we don't have a stun counter. Okay. So again, we're going to have to look at two things here. Okay. We're going to have to look at probably our mini-map, which isn't actually here. What's this pickup bonus? Right. Yeah. We want to do something with this. So pickup bonus widget. Okay. And now I forgot where it was. Oh yeah, we're looking at the minimap widget, weren't we? Right, here's what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, if you play the game, right? We pick up the minimap. Okay. And we basically have another pickup, which is a stun. Okay. But we need to be able to display it so that the player can see how many stuns they have, or if indeed they have a stun. Okay. And we're going to have to keep that between while he's running around, right? So if we go back to our Pawn Chronicles, we're going to add a variable, and we'll just basically call it stun count. And it's going to be an integer. Okay. Now, I've also noticed a little problem here with our HUD widget, which we can take a look at as well. As I said, we're getting to the point where we're basically going through and just nitpicking everything, right? So I'll show you another item that I put on the list, right? Previous rating on level painting, right? What I mean by that is, right, when the player plays the game and they go into the gateway, right, if they come up to here, they don't know what their previous best is, okay? So it would be nice if they had a indicator for what the previous score was, so that they know if, like, let's say it goes up to 5, right, and they've only got a rating of 3, well, let's say 4, right, and now this one is open, right, but this one has only got a rating of 4, right? We need some way to show them that basically they've got a rating of 4, okay? So, with that in mind, I'm going to quickly take a comfort break, but I'm going to leave something on the screen, and that is the end screen. Right, and I shall be back in 2 minutes. Okay, sorry for the interruption. We are back, and let's have a look at what we've got and what we were actually doing there. And that takes us back to the correct place. So let's do the painting thing, okay? So if we take a look at the maps, we go to the gateway, we save that, then let's have a look at our picture level, okay, and what we're interested in here is the begin overlap, etc. Right, and this is the interact widget. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a canvas panel into here again. Okay. And this canvas panel right, so it looks like this canvas panel is in the wrong place. Okay, so now we've got it in the right place. We want it in the center, but on the bottom. Okay. And we're going to exit 0.5. Right, we're not going to do it 10 because that's going to be too close. So we're going to say, let's say 7.5. Right. So we do know that we've got a previous rating on our level complete. Okay, so basically if we go down and find our rating, in fact if we copy this box, right, and then go to our interact and basically paste it in here, okay, and that's going to be a 0, that's going to be 0, that is going to be 0.5, is going to be size into content, right? But what we're going to do is now this horizontal box is going to start off as hidden. Okay. And it's only if we return a rating, right, that we're going to do this. Okay. So when we come in here, we're not going to do that. Or actually we might. Yeah, that's on event construct. Right. Okay. So what we're actually going to need to do here is we're going to have to create a variable, and it's going to be as gateway. Okay, and then if we go to our picture select, refresh the node. Okay, that's not going to work, and that's because we didn't set this up as instance editable. So now if we go here and we refresh the nodes, we're going to say yes to that. And then here's the interact, right? So that doesn't need to change, but what it does is the W interact. Okay. And what we're going to do here is tidy this up a little bit first, and then we'll do a bit of moving stuff around. We can do that like that, right? And then we can say is gateway. We can branch off of this. But in this case we say no. We want the true to go straight, right? So basically in fact, you know what? this can go quite safely at the end, right, because we do want to actually do these two either way, right, so we'll just move this over to here. Move that to there, move that up, and then we shall actually take the true off, or the not, and if it is the gateway, the interesting thing is we need the level. Right? We're getting the interact, and we're getting this level number from the picture. Right? So for our interact, we're going to have to add TXT rating. That's the one I just added. Okay, right, we're going to need level number, and that's going to be an integer, instance editable, expose on spawn, save that. And refresh the nodes. And the interesting thing is, I need to find out if this is actually getting called or not, where this level number gets set. Right. So with that in mind, in our interact, I'm going to change our TXT rating to that number. So we set text right to this level number. Okay, we drag that in, get this, and do that. Right, and also if we go back to our designer, we need this canvas panel. Was it the horizontal box that I made hidden? Yes, it was. Right, so we shall basically say HB underscore rating. Then if we go back to our graph, we basically get that. Then say visibility and set it to visible. Okay, so now we can actually test this. And yeah, we get the number in, so that's fine. So that's a good start. So if we know this number, right, we're not actually going to do this. And we're not going to do that. We are going to do this, right? But what we actually want to do is go to our level complete, go to the graph, right? And we want to get this from the high scores, right? Now, we don't want to loop with delay. We just want to basically draw this. So we just copy that. We go back to our interact. We paste that. Right? Then we want to do a for each loop. Right? We're going to do that. That's going to go in there. We can drag that down a bit. And we can drag this down a bit. This isn't going to be a for each loop, it's just going to be a for loop, right? But what we want to do is we want to get the save game. So get game instance right, so we get the game instance and we cast that to GI Chronicles. And then we get a level score. Right, but we're not doing that. We're getting high scores. Get high scores. And for each loop, we're doing break high scores. Right, and we're getting this level number, and if that equals that, what else do we have in here? Yeah, we have a rating, but that's an enum, so we need to actually take something for here. We need to change this struct high scores. Right, so this struct high scores needs to change, and that just becomes an integer. Okay, and we go back to here, and then we say and the level is complete. Then we branch off of that. And that goes in there. So then we get the rating. And we do for each. No, we don't. We do a for loop. We just do a standard for loop. Then we do that, and we do that, and then we basically move this to the end. But the problem is here, of course, that we don't have at this point any high scores because we're not saving them. So the next point of the task is to actually save the high scores. Okay. And then finally, once we've done all that, we can do that and do that. Okay. Now, one of the things we could do in the meantime is we could test it out without a high score. If we just plug this in here and save that. Okay, it doesn't like that for some reason. Oh yeah, we don't do that. Right. And we're doing 1-to-1. Except this is going to probably bring back nothing. So we'll just make it do 2. Right. Alright, we've still got an error here. And don't know what that is actually. High score line. Ah, right, okay. That's fine. Right. And the point here is, in our interact, has this thing done some extra code or something? I mean, it doesn't actually necessarily matter. See, it's creating this rating individual, right? But we don't really want it to do any of its weird stuff, really. But what we'll do is we'll go and take a break for 2 minutes. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Check out the description for links to my Discord, as well as Patreon and my game on Steam, which is called FTD2. I shall be back in 2 minutes. Okay, we are back. So let's carry on with this. And so we have this working, but not in the way that I want yet, but it's going to be fairly simple to fix it up. I don't want the things to go like that. Right? I just want them to be there. Okay? So if we go to this widget, right, we can basically duplicate it. And we can just say rating flat, right? And basically in the graph, we don't do crap. Right? And we don't color it. Okay? So now when we go back to our interact, we do rating flat. Okay, that's what I want. I just want it to come up. Okay, like so. That's exactly what I want. Right, and this unfortunately leads us on to another issue. Which is then going to affect this issue. Okay, and that is high scores. Because at the moment we are not, I don't believe we are saving high scores. I don't even know, well, they are in our game instance, right? So that's okay. Now our problem is this isn't right. So we're going to have to write some kind of a high score for this to check it out. Okay. So our best idea here is to go into our save games, delete this, right? Then we're in the right place. Create default save game. Gameplay settings. DT high scores. Okay, so we need something in here that's going to reflect what we want to see on the screen. Right, so we are actually going to see rating 3. Let's make it 4. Okay, and level complete. Save that. And now we can test it by, well, we're going to have to go from the start here so that we actually load up the high score. minimize that for now. Go to main menu, save all of that. Play game into here, and there we go. Excellent. And that's not available at the moment. Now, the interesting thing is here, if we enter this, right, we finish our test level, right, then we close that. This should open up this one, and we don't have a rating yet, right? And that's cool. That's all working nicely. Right. Now that is basically what we want at this point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gateway again. And I think, if I am right, as I said, what we're going to do is we're just going to gradually fill this up. What meshes do we have? Apparently nothing. That's a residential house, not a Victorian house. That wasn't what we wanted. Right, this is just the walls and stuff. We don't want that. We want the meshes here. Nah, it hasn't got it. I see. I thought it had a sort of arms, but it doesn't, which is a bit crap. But hey ho. Never mind. Right. Well, the interesting thing here is, right, if I press, right, that's not going to get us, yeah it is, or is it? Right, let's go back to the maps. I want to make sure there's no, right, the question here is, if I press play here, I'm expecting 4. Yeah, nothing. That's what I expect. Because it hasn't got the game instance at this point, so it's not loaded up the high scores. So that was exactly what I expected to happen. If we, however, go to the main menu and press play, right, and we come in here, now we get our 4-star rating. But the interesting thing here is that that should be a 5-star rating. Okay, because basically we should have saved it, but we aren't. So if we go to our widgets, go to our level complete, right, that's all well and good, but what we need is our controller and level controller. Okay, now it's saving this, right? So it's saving that, the level status, but it's not saving the rating. Right? Now, when we go to display score, and then we calculate the rating, right? Now, we could say return rating. Okay, and then have a variable and call it rating, right, and set that as a float. And then in our return rating, we just have an output and we say rating, and that's an integer, right? And then we just plug this in here, right? So rating should be an integer. Okay, that should go there. In fact, I don't even need this. Alright, I just need to say delete. we just need to set this rating in here. And that goes in there, right? And then if we come back to our end level, right, we're doing all that. Then we're saying game instance, high scores, we need the level for this as well. Got the level name. We need the level row. Okay. So this is ending up being a bit more complicated than we thought. So we say get copy of the level row. We break that. Then we say if this is less than or equal to get rating, so if that is less than or equal to, right, we want to flip them around. Damn it. Right, we'll just delete that. We'll get a rating. So if that is greater than that rating, then we're going to branch, and we're going to actually do something. we're going to set a rate element, and it's going to be that one. Right, and we're going to make our struct high scores. We're going to fill this in. Except our rating is going to be that. Right. Right, we're loading the game for slot. Right, okay. Then we're saying high scores. We're saying set high scores. Then we're taking it for this. Then that's going in there. And then we're duplicating that. And that's going for there to there. And then that's going into there. Okay. You can save that. And I think we'll call it there for the night. That was a good save game. Bit of work there. So if that all works, we've broken the back of the save game file, right, and saving high scores and stuff. Now, I'm not expecting this to work first time, but we'll try it anyway, because why not? Why not? You never know. I might not have made any mistakes there. So we go to main menu, press play. Tell you what we're going to do first though. We're going to do a save all. Okay, so we'll try that. Play game. Now this should be giving us 4. That's right. And then when we do this, we're going for 5. Right. Close that. And if we come in here, what's it going to show us is the question. 4. Okay. That's fine. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I shall be back tomorrow at 2 PM as normal. Hope to see you then. In the meantime, hit like and subscribe. Check out the description for links to Discord, Patreon and my previous game on Steam. And hopefully we should have this working by tomorrow. I'm going to work on this offline. So thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.